Sorry, I was just trying to start the recording. Yes,
Okay.
we could get started. Let me just share this screen. Okay.
Okay, well, welcome everyone. The Tech Tuesday for today is assistive technology for social isolation. We're kind of getting to that time where this becomes an issue. And so we're going to go over some things today for social isolation. I am going to describe the pictures on the slide. It just creates better access for everyone. So the picture on this slide is of a group gathering at one of the events that we went to recently by the water, and just getting out and enjoying the nice weather. It also includes our logo, for Michigan Disability Rights Coalition, Michigan Assistive Technology Program. Can we go to the next slide, Nick? So welcome. My name is Laura Hall. I use she, her, and her pronouns. My email is underneath that line, Laura at MyMDRC, if you're looking to get a hold of me. I've got Nick as my chat moderator today. Nick, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Nick, and feel free to just send whatever you'd like in the chat if you have any questions or comments. And if you'd like to speak up as well, you can unmute yourself and just feel free to chime in when you'd like. This is kind of a organic, feel free kind of session where we all can bounce off each other with ideas. So we appreciate any feedback or comments.
Yes, thank you. We go to the next slide. Okay. So just want to start by kind of getting to know you. I'm wondering if you can drop in the chat what county you're from, and if you're a person with a disability, if you're a family member of a person with a disability, if you represent education, health or rehab, community living, technology, or you have some other type of identity. We also just asked this because this helps collect data for our federal funders.
We have from Frank, he is from Eaton and a person with a disability.
Okay.
And then we have from Sarah, from Ingham, family member of a person with a disability. And then Stephen from Saginaw and a person with a disability. And also myself, I am from Ingham and a person with a disability. And Jill from Ingham, person with disability. And Lauren is also from Ingham and has another identity.
Awesome.
And we also have one from Anna. She's from Muskegon and a person with a disability. Thank you, everyone, for chiming
Great.
in.
Thank you. That's very helpful to us.
Oh, and sorry, Pete. Pete is a person with disability from if I'm pronouncing this wrong, I'm sorry, Montcalm. And then Christina is also a person with a disability and from Genesee.
Great. I love that we have so many other people from the disability community here today. Just so you all know, I also identify as a person with a disability. I have cerebral palsy and use a wheelchair, so a lot of this AT is stuff that I've used or have used with other people in the community. Can we go to the next slide, Nick? So we just want to start out by telling you a little bit about Michigan Disability Rights Coalition. So our vision, MDRC envisions a world where people with disabilities live full lives within the community with equal rights, equity, and opportunities, are valued as essential and vital members of the community, can be their full selves in all of their identities and all aspects of their lives, and have space for self-discovery, to cultivate community, and to develop pride. Our mission is to cultivate disability pride and strengthen the disability movement by recognizing disability as a natural and beautiful part of human diversity, while collaborating to dismantle all forms of oppression. So to me, this means that we don't only just address disability issues, we realize that people with disabilities have identities in many different areas where they may be oppressed for those identities. And so it is the work of our organization to address not only disability issues, but other issues that are oppressing people with disabilities. The picture on this slide is of a young girl in a wheelchair sitting casually. Next slide, please. Just so you know a little bit about the Michigan Assistive Technology Program, if you're not already aware. So what is assistive technology? We consider assistive technology as any tool, software, or app that can help people with disabilities, including older adults, do what they want to do. We help people statewide gain access to AT devices in the areas of vision loss, hearing loss, cooking and eating, reading, organizing, communicating, calendar reminders, transitioning, help with daily living activities, mental health. Outdoor recreation is one of our newer programs that we're very excited about. AT for gaming is another newer area that we're also excited about. AT for crafting, which we're going to talk a bit about today. AT for parenting, gardening, and connecting with friends and family, which is another thing that we're going to talk about today. Our program is free for people with disabilities. We say that our program is for people with disabilities, by people with disabilities, because a majority of our staff identify as people with disabilities. So we provide trainings on how to use the AT devices. We call these demonstrations. And then also, so we would, if you were looking for a certain device, we would provide you with the demonstration of what we have in our lending library. And then we have those devices available for short and longer term loan, so that you could take that item home, try it in your own home, see if it works with your daily routine. We understand that sometimes you just can't decide whether assistive technology will work for you by trying it one time. So that's why we offer both the demonstrations and the short-term loan opportunities. And this helps people to learn what works and doesn't work for them. Ultimately, we don't want you purchasing AT that's not going to work for you. So the picture on the slide is of a blind woman utilizing her phone. Next slide, please, Nick. Okay, so getting into the area of social isolation. Social isolation, we know, can cause higher rates of anxiety and depression, can be one of the factors related to heart failure, increase of death and hospitalization, can cause feelings of loneliness, loss of interest, loss of sleep, and loss of appetite. Social connection is what is vital to our survival. So we depend on one another for support. We need that, and if we don't have that, we get sadder, sicker, and more at risk of early death. And so some things that have been shown to help prevent that is attending or hosting social gatherings, connecting virtually, connecting in person, and getting outside. And we're going to show some AT for all of those things today. Can we go to the next slide, Nick? Thank you. And then on top of that, people with disabilities are dealing with additional factors. So, you know, I hate to say this, but we are seeing another increase in flu, COVID, RSV, and illnesses that could disproportionately affect people with disabilities. And because many people with disabilities have lowered immune system and other risk factors, they are needing even more the non-disabled people to socially or really physically distance themselves from in-person activities. And there other factors may include things like public transportation, where people need to be in a more crowded setting in order to get where they need to be. That can also be high risk and further limit interaction. So on top of what people are dealing with social isolation, with regard to, all the illnesses that are coming back up, and also the winter time and snow and just being able to get out. There's these additional factors that are in play too. Can we go to the next slide? Okay, so some of the things that we're going to talk about today are ways to connect via video call services. We're going to talk about smart speakers, companion pets. We're going to talk a little bit about our outdoor recreation inventory, some items that we have for crafting and gaming. And this is only kind of touching on what we have available in our inventory. So we're hoping to just kind of give you a good overview of things that we have for social isolation today. Okay. So video call devices are a good way to connect with friends and family. I think a lot of people know this by now, but some people don't know how to connect via video. So that can happen, on iPhones and iPads, Android phones and tablets. All phones typically come with a camera and a built-in smart assistant, or also a way to connect via video calls, depending on which phone you have. And we at the AT program are able to help guide people through those features if they're not familiar with how to do that. Desktop computers and laptops usually have built-in, or you can get external webcams and headphones to help you connect. And then, of course, there's the smart speakers like the Amazon Echo Show and the Google Home. Can we go to the next one, Nick? So I want to talk a little bit about smart speakers, because those are becoming more popular and are really an easy way for people to do a lot of different things at one time. So ways that smart speakers can help you connect. And when I say smart speakers, I'm referring to the Amazon, the the Amazon Show and the Google Nest. They're very similar. They're both, the smart speakers with a video screen. So if you're familiar with the Alexa devices, you may have an Echo Dot, which is simply like a speaker. The ones that I'm talking about actually have the video screens to help you connect over the screen. So with the smart speakers on both the Google Nest and the Echo Show, you can watch movies, videos, news stories. You can connect via video with other people who have a smart speaker video device. So I could tell my Alexa device, for example, to call my sister, who also has an Echo Show, and we can talk to each other on the screen. Another thing that you can do with the person's permission, if they're not able to call you directly, is you can drop in their Echo device. So my sister likes to do this just to surprise me all the time, and say hello. But if you have permission, you can tell. I'm not gonna say her name. I'm gonna call her Lady A. Drop in on Laura's Echo Show, and she will drop in my living room and be able to see what's happening in my living room. Little creepy, not, can be very helpful though. You can also place video calls if you don't need to do, I'm sorry, you can place voice calls if you're not looking to do a video call. So I can also just, talk to my sister as I would over the phone, but it's a nice hands-free way of doing it. These devices connect to other devices that have video components. So for example, I have a Ring doorbell camera. When someone comes to my door, it shows me who's at my door, or will tell me that someone's at my door, and then also show me on the Alexa screen what's happening outside on my front door. There are also ways that you can go through cooking recipes and the thing I like about this is that they read and show the recipe and ingredients, and can actually read through the cooking recipe for you and at your pace, so you can tell Alexa next step, and you can also kind of see it and read it at the same time. Actually, on the picture on this slide is a picture of a looks like a father and daughter that are cooking together, and perhaps cooking with someone on the other end. So that would be kind of a fun way to socially connect. Is, you know, you could both decide to make something and cook together over the video screen. So smart
And I
speakers with
just, sorry, I was just gonna add in something about the smart speaker that was interesting is we did a video about 2 weeks ago on the newer Amazon Echo Show 10, and the newer one, when you have video calls or watching stuff, it even follows you, so you don't have to like turn the device a certain way as you're in the room. It kind of follows your head so that you know what you're looking at all the time, and it's really convenient in that way.
I have not tried that yet, Nick. So I knew that I did that.
Yeah, and if you're curious, maybe even if we have time at the end, I can show sort of what it did on the video. It's very intuitive and interesting.
Great. Thanks, Nick. Can we go to the next slide? Okay, so if you don't have a smart speaker, or you're looking for something that's more built into things that you have, other video call services include Facebook Messenger, which works across devices. So you could use that on your web browser. And then whether you had Apple or Android, Facebook Messenger works for that. It's picture-based. A lot of people like it better than FaceTime, which is through the iPhone. Not only because it works across the Apple Android, but because there are fewer button pushes. A lot of people already use Facebook, and like that, it's just an easy way to connect. Um, for other options, if you don't use Facebook, might be Zoom, which we're on right now. Google Meet is another one that's like Zoom through Google. WhatsApp, Skype, which was used, I think, is one of the first video connection apps out there, but has kind of gotten overtaken by Zoom. But Skype is still out there. Can we go to the next slide? Okay. So some ideas that you might not have thought of to do with video calls with other people. You could host a book or movie club, um, host a coloring or crafting hour. It could be something where you decide on a craft that you're going to work on. Everybody gets the materials for that craft, and then you spend time putting it together by yourself. During COVID, I did use a video call. I like to paint, but I don't like to go to the wine and paint sessions because I feel like they're too rushed. So I watch them on YouTube, and that's another thing my sister and I did over the Echo Show, was paint together while we were both watching the YouTube video on our TV, but we were talking to each other over the smart speaker. You could host a spa hour, so you could put on your mud mask, paint your toenails together, and talk about the day. Again, host a crafternoon. So I think I already mentioned this, but you could pick out a craft, have people get what they need for that craft, and then work on that craft together. You could host a watch party of a video or show. Netflix often has watch parties where you can click, if you both have Netflix, and watch it together on different TVs at the same time. I believe they changed the name from watch party to teleplay now, which is on your resource list. And then there are other things like digital escape rooms, which are really cool. I came across a Hogwarts digital escape room where you can either do it by yourself or work with other people to find the escape from the room. And so I think one of the nice things for COVID is that a lot of people came up with ideas of things to do for social isolation. And I think now that we're here, I don't think we're really going back. And so a lot of these experiences and opportunities are out there. It's just finding them and making them something that you can do together, you know, just thinking creatively. The picture on the slide is of a woman wearing a mud eye mask and taking a selfie of herself with her phone in her bathrobe. Can we go to the next slide? Okay, so moving on, we have a couple of robotic pets, which are really interesting. They are pets that you don't need to feed, water, clean up with after. They are the robotic in the way that they react to your body. So they look at you, they move. There's the Joy for All pets that we have are able to bark, they move their head, they roll over, they purr. There's a cat and a dog. They will snuggle with you, and we have some people for which they find this very comforting. They were designed for people with Alzheimer's and dementia, but we're finding that, you know, during these times of social isolation, people who can't have pets for whatever reason, either because they're allergic or can't have one in their home or don't have the ability to take care of one, many find these really helpful and really feel like these become like real pets to them. We did recently find that they not only have a dog and a cat through Joy for All, but they have a bird called the Walker Squawker. Nick and I joked that this was not necessarily my cup of tea, but it could be somebody's if you're a bird fan. And there are also robotic fish tanks that you can watch and interact with. So I mean, really cool stuff coming out. This is a picture of one of our demo participants. She's holding the Joy for All pet dog. This worked for her so well. So just really neat stuff coming out. Next slide, Nick. Okay. AT for gaming. So a lot of the things that I show on this slide are for video gaming, but I wanted to mention that we have assistive technology for tabletop gaming. So we have, for example, you can see on the slide some tactile dice that are meant for people who have trouble distinguishing the numbers on the dice. It might be low vision, it might be neurodiversity or some other reason. But we also have things that help you shake the dice, things that help you shuffle cards, card holders. We have adapted Dungeons and Dragons plater sheets, all sorts of stuff for tabletop gaming, which I think is really cool. And then we have really been excited about our adaptive gaming program, video gaming program. We have a variety of adaptive controllers. So for example, below the dice, you can see that we have a foot rudder joystick where you use your feet to actually navigate and then use the buttons. Next to that is a picture of myself and my colleague Abby, and I am using something called the arcade stick. Is that right, Nick? Did I get that right?
Yes, it's the PXN arcade stick.
Yeah, and then what I liked about this is that it had one of the old school kind of arcade joysticks that I could grab with my entire hand, and then 3 or 4 really big buttons. And this was me trying to play a video game. And it took some getting used to, but if I had practiced with that, I think I could have become really proficient with that. Because it's utilizing my strengths. I'm not a fine motor skill person with my cerebral palsy, so pushing the buttons and the levers, I'm not so quick about. But if I have a joystick and 4 buttons, I can do that. So that was really exciting to try that. Below that, we have some adaptive switches. So one there is called the AbleNet Jelly Bean switch. It's just a large button that you can plug in to take the place of something else that maybe needed to do on that you may need to do on the controller. The AbleNet micro light switch, which is something if somebody has like a very light touch, and able to hit that might work. And then there's the AbleNet spec switch, which these all kind of depend on what the person needs. So it would be something where we would look and see, what would work best for you in terms of switches and things like that. And then on the bottom, we have the Logitech adaptive controller, which is really neat. I'm sorry, that's the Xbox adaptive controller. If you turn it around to the back, which you can see on the bottom of the screen, there are all sorts of ports back there, and you can put in, for every function that you can do on the joystick, there is a port where you can put in an adaptive switch or some other type of device to help make that accessible for someone. So that is very cool. So we've talked about the adaptive controllers, the adaptive switches. We also have a lot of information on accessibility features on consoles. Consoles are not quite up to where they need to be with regard to accessibility, which can be frustrating sometimes, but our gaming AT specialist Abby also knows a lot about the accessibility features on the consoles and within specific games. Specific games also have accessibility features where you can turn on and off certain features. Like for a shooting game, for example, I can make it so that it auto targets so that it's not so hard for me to try to target. When games are easier to play, I'm going to play them longer, and that's why that's important. I think that we have those options available for folks. Can we go to the next slide, Nick? Okay. I'm going to take a drink 1 second. So, why is this important? According to Able Gamers, which is a organization that focuses on accessibility within gaming, 35 to 45% of people with disabilities were profoundly socially isolated even before COVID. Research on digital video games that shows that they contribute to higher levels of well-being, less depression, and less negative affect amongst older adults. Going to an arcade or a gaming meetup is also good for social isolation. Video games allow individuals to connect with family and people who have similar interests. So a lot of games now are multiplayer or massive multiplayer online games where you're playing with a whole community of people. And this helps to create an amazing support network and can foster lifelong friendships, which has a positive impact on one's well-being as well. I have the picture of Abby and I in the last slide. I just wanted to mention that Abby and I actually met online and didn't know that we knew each other in person until we were like, oh, that's your username. Oh, I'm Tank Princess, So just kind of really interesting how you can meet all sorts of people from all over the world by doing gaming. Next slide. Okay. So we have some AT for crafts. So not only are we talking about connecting with people today, but I wanted to talk about things that could help help with things that you're maybe interested in, hobbies, crafts, interests, to help you get back to doing those things if it's something that has been difficult because of disability or age. So some of the things that we're going to talk about are AT for painting, for paper crafting, for art, fiber arts, and more. So I'm just going to start by kind of explaining the pictures, starting with the one on the lower left-hand corner. This is something called the Arthrider. it's really meant as a writing device for a pencil or a pen, but it's something you grab with your whole hand and you put the pencil inside and then you can hold it with your whole hand. This not only works for pens and pencils, but markers, colored pencils, art supplies, paint brushes. There are many different ways that you can use the Arthrider. Next to that are just some large foam grips that are shown on the end of a colored pencil. This can make a really big difference for people. Just being able to have a thicker grip and something that is comfortable to hold on to if you're going to be using it for a long time. So those are some foam grips. Above the foam grips is something called the writing bird, and this is similar to the Arthrider, except with the writing bird, you set your hand inside of that tray and use your pencil goes between your fingers. Next to that, we have some push down safety scissors. This allows you to use your whole kind of hand to push down while you're cutting. And then finally on the slide is a pair of electric scissors. So these you kind of start the cutting and then they cut on their own. And there's a picture of somebody using the electric scissors underneath a photo of the scissors. Next slide. So AT for painting. We have a variety of different paint brushes. You can see that we have up at the top ones that have a bigger grip on the end that are in yellow, green, red, and blue. These are just one of the many varieties of paintbrushes that we have with alternate grips. We have lots of different types of paintbrushes. We've also partnered with Zot's Art to get access to some of their adaptive painting equipment. So one example is the art roller, and if you can see these pictures below the paintbrushes is a picture of one of our AT specialists, Kelly. Kelly's blind and she's using the art roller on a piece of paper, and she's able to do that because it's in a guide that allows her to know where to roll the paintbrush. You can also use the art roller from a wheelchair, which is really cool, that just hooks onto your wheelchair, or you can use it as a handle while walking. So there's lots of different ways to use these kind of art rollers. And I used one when I was younger and made kind of a collage with a lot of other wheelchair users, and it's a really cool thing to know that you made a piece of art with your wheelchair, with your assistive technology is very cool. We do have some information on do-it-yourself AT for painting. One example would be making your own custom grip with the air drying modeling clay. So that's just an easy, low tech, low cost adaptation to make some AT. Next slide, Nick. Okay, so AT for art, fiber arts. So this is not my area. I did some talking with the person who does do this. So if any of you are crocheters or knitters and I do not get my terminology right, I apologize. But I wanted to show some AT for knitting and crocheting and things like that. The first one is the if you look on the upper left, these are rings that you can wear that can help you control your yarn. It's that finger ring to kind of you can use, and they're actually really cool designs that you can use to wrap around your finger and keep track of your yarn, which is really cool to me. They come in a variety of different designs, so it's almost like an art piece as well. Underneath that is a digital stitch counter. Apparently with knitting, you need to keep track of your stitches, and this comes with a digital stitch counter, including some ergonomic knitting hooks that are interchangeable. It's rechargeable, and it also comes with a light, which is nice if you're needing a little bit more light for that. Next to that is a another adaptive handle for crocheting or knitting. Again, these come with some interchangeable parts, but allows you a bigger handle to hold onto your knitting hook, which is cool. Below that is a tactile measuring tape. These come with different, rivets in it that are different sizes that can help somebody who is blind, has low vision, just has difficulty measuring things, know where they are in terms of measuring. In the upper right hand corner is a picture of a wristwatch that you can wear. This again is more like a tally counter. You just hit it when you're trying to keep track of your stitches and your rows. This can also work for golf or any other kind of activity where you have um, to keep track of numbers. So that's helpful. I'm blanking out on the name of this last item. Nick, can you help me out?
I believe it's the loom.
Yes,
Is it
so
the loom?
this is a manual loom. So this comes with 40 needles, and you just you put it through the I was just looking at this morning. You put it through you weave it through the different needles, you run the crank, and it actually helps you do the weaving and the knitting yourself. I did see that they had an electric version of this, which this one, the manual version, is about $40. The electric version was about 140. I did see that it could make round stitches and flat stitches. I don't know what the difference is between that, but um, for someone who does fiber arts, this looks really amazing, and it's marketed toward a younger audience. So it seems like it is relatively easy to use and a good way to get started. And then, if you want to move on to different things, then you could. But so that's that. Can we go to the next slide? Okay, so some other types of AT that we have. So we have a lighted magnifier floor lamp, which just kind of helps with lighting with your art projects, with your fiber projects. Good lighting is important, and so this enables you to have both the light and the magnification. Below that is kind of like an extra large tray, kind of like a TV tray that has different it has a tray on the side and a way to organize your stuff in front of you so that you could have that tray right in front of you and have all of your supplies. In the middle of the slide is a wheelchair accessible pottery wheel, which I am dying to try. I just have always wanted to try pottery, and I think it would be really cool. I have not tried this, so I can't speak to a lot of it, but it does have, the spot for the clay in the middle, and then spaces on the sides for the other things that you may need. Below that is a lighted a lighted magnifier, again something more compact that you may need when you're working on art. And then finally, in the upper right hand corner is a picture of a wheelchair accessible easel. I really wish I had had these when I was younger and thinking about becoming a teacher. One of the things I always struggled with is writing on those post-it notes or doing any kind of drawing on those. And so that's neat to me that they have these now. Any questions so far? I know I've got kind of full steam ahead. Okay. I'll take that as a no. Next slide, Nick.
Whoops.
I'm
sorry.
Nope, no problem. Okay, so we know it's getting toward winter, but I'm hoping at least for a mild winter. And one of the things that we believe strongly in is that in order for people to, combat social isolation and get outdoors, they need to have a way to get outdoors. And so we have invested in some e-bikes, which are electric bikes. They are they're bikes that have batteries and motors on them. So you can adjust how much force it takes to pedal the bike. So you can have the full motor on and use it more like a motorbike, or you can dial it back and have it somewhere in between, just depending on what you need. I think we are up to, and Nick, correct me if I'm wrong, we have 7 e-bikes now, and they all have different features.
Yes.
The one that is on the slide is called the electric bike. What's nice about this one is it's a step-through bike, so you don't have to do a lot of climbing over to get onto it. You can kind of step through it. And these go, I think these go up to about 26 miles per hour based on, depending on which bike it is and the battery life of the bike. Next to that, the e-bike is a picture of Abby and Jaleesa. Jaleesa on the right is our outdoor recreation specialist. They are working with someone who is out of their wheelchair on one of the e-bikes.
And then also, I was just gonna add in about the electric bike. One other convenient part about it, I've actually ridden this, and the power on it's pretty nice, and the tires are nice for different terrain. Except for grass, I wouldn't recommend putting this on grass. But it folds up, and you can fit into about like a bigger like barrel type size of a space. So like it's able to be put in a trunk or in like a smaller compact, maybe car's trunk. So it's nice to be able to have that ability, but to transport that a little more easier than some of the other larger trikes or bikes. So just something to add in about that electric bike too.
Mm-hmm. And that program is really growing. We are able to loan the bikes, depending on, whether they're available and whether we have other people that have them out at the time. But I know we have been able to loan some of the bikes out, and that's what's nice about having a variety of bikes in our inventory system. Next slide, Nick. So we have a lot more information on outdoor recreation, but for the purposes of time, I had to cut it down. So I just wanted to mention that we have other outdoor recreation. We have AT for hunting, AT for fishing. I've got a picture on the slide here of a strap that you can put next to your reel that can help you use your whole hand to reel in instead of just using your grip with your fingers. We have AT for camping, which I actually forgot to mention on this list, but we have some long-handled extended marshmallow sticks that actually rotate automatically on their own to allow you to enjoy your marshmallows. And we have AT for gardening. So we have things like raised beds, some adaptive hand tools, things for weeding, things for seeding. On this slide, I included a picture of one of our hand tools that has a arm cuff on it so that you can use your whole arm to use the tool instead of just using one grip with your hand. You can use the weight of your whole arm. So yeah, so AT for hunting, fishing, gardening, bird watching, hiking, and even more. It just keeps getting, there's more and more that keeps getting added to this inventory. There's AT for ice fishing too. So if you are a fisherman and want to get there out fishing on the ice, we have AT for that. Next slide, Nick. Since it's winter time, I didn't want to leave this slide out. So AT for snowball fun. It's one of the funnest times of winters, I think, is snowball fights. This is something minor, but there is an indoor snowball kit. So these are just fuzzy snowballs. More of a novelty gift, but it's something that could break up the monotony of the winter. If you know, brought out some snowballs and had a snowball fight indoors. Um, there's also something for the outdoors called the snow slinger, which is kind of like a oh, how do I describe that? Like a clamp or a mouth that comes down over the snow and packs it together in a ball, and then it's got one of those long handles that allow you to sling it forward, almost like they have for the dog tennis balls. So that's a way to have a little fun with the snow. Next slide. I just wanted to go through a couple of our success stories with people who tried some of our AT for social isolation. So we had a participant who learned about our program through the Disability Network Capital Area. I know we've got some staff here from DNCAP today. They were looking at apps and other phones that might work better for her and her hearing loss. She uses a cochlear implant and was having difficulty not only using her cell phone, but also keeping track of the conversations in real time. So our AT specialist demonstrated the use of the live transcribe app on the iPhone. And the participant said, I feel like a kid on Christmas morning who is a puppy under the tree. So just imagine that, you know, not being able to keep up with conversations that are happening on both sides, missing out on some information, and really I can see how that can lead to social isolation. So the fact that we were able to help her you know, reconnect and be able to understand the full conversation is a big win in my book. Can we go to the next slide? Okay. So the next success story has to do with the robotic pets. Someone watched a local news story on the companion pets, and they contacted us about trying out the cat. They had it for just a few days, and they reached out to say, I love my cat. I just want to say thank you. I hold my cat when I'm feeling scared from like a storm. I also sleep with my cat. So good to know that these are helpful. And then this is a gaming success story. We actually have a partnership with Mary Free Bed Rehabilitation Hospital in Grand Rapids, who we have provided some gaming equipment for, and they help provide demos to people that are going through the Mary Free Bed system. John is a person who had been in a motor vehicle accident that resulted in a spinal cord injury. And it was very important to him that he got back to gaming. He said, for me, it would be keeping my mind off the injury. It's now easy to game with friends online. It can be hard to meet up in person. So gaming allows me to still connect with those I like to game with. I like to play Call of Duty or Escape from Tarkov with friends. The benefits he finds from gaming are the social aspects and the challenge of his mind while gaming. John used, he used our equipment. He used the Xbox adaptive controller and the Logitech adaptive gaming buttons in rec therapy. And they were able to help him figure out that he needed another piece of equipment called the quad stick, which he uses as a sip and puff controller. So he actually, in order to control his PC or his console, he uses his breath. So he will breathe in for one motion, breathe out for another. And he's looking forward to getting a sip and puff controller, as it will give him even more adaptability to the games he enjoys playing, and the independence returning to gaming. So I really like that story because I think it's something that John did before his accident. It's something that's helping him process and work through his accident now, and it's showing him that he can still do things that he used to do, even if it might be in a different way. So I really like that success story. So this is a story about the e-bikes. Person said, I lived in Traverse City for many years and was never able to make it long distances on the TART trail, the TART trail. MATP showed me how to use the e-bike, and I was able to go down the trail a lot longer. Who knew such beauty was right up the road from me? I think that's beautiful. So able to help people get places they haven't been, even if it's right nearby where they may live. Next slide, Nick. So we're wrapping up here. Again, we just wanted to note that if you're interested in learning more about our organization, receiving a training, or AT demonstrations, we just ask that you contact us. The email to contact us, and Nick, if you could add this in the chat, is at@mymdrc.org. And then we've also got listed some general information for Michigan Disability Rights Coalition if you're interested in getting in touch with us. Are there any questions or comments?
Christina said thank you.
Thank you, Christina.
Yeah, thank you all for joining us for this hour.
I hope this was helpful. I hope we probably won't see anyone until after the holidays, so I hope that you all have a great holiday and spend some time with family or friends. Maybe have some time to do some things that you enjoy, and let us know if any of this AT can help.
We also have a happy holidays from Sarah to everyone.
If there are no questions, I think we'll wrap up for today. Thank you so much for attending. Nick, can you let us know when our next Tech Tuesday is?
Yes, so let me just double check on the date to make sure. One moment. It is in January, and I believe it is the 10th. It's the 10th. So January 10th of 2023 at the same time at noon will be our next Tech Tuesday, and that is on assistive technology for youth. So we have a variety of technology for youth ages, infant to 18, and so very interesting stuff. A lot of variety of stuff for different recreational activity or learning, or stuff that might help parents out with their kids just in general. And so we will cover more of that when it comes in January.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Will Dejanay be presenting that one?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
Yes, it will be her, and then I'm not positive if anyone else will be joining her, but she will be the lead on that presentation.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank
Happy
you.
holidays,
Thank you.
everyone.
You too.
Happy holidays to you too. Thank
Bye,
you,
everyone. Thank you to our